You've probably heard that crazy recording of the Google AI booking a restaurant reservation, right? It sounds almost perfectly human. Well, just imagine that same kind of intelligence, but instead of ordering a pizza, it's analyzing a million transactions in a single second. This tech isn't some far-off sci-fi concept anymore. It's here, and believe me, it is about to completely reshape the entire world of accounting and finance.
So, this is the big question, isn't it? The one on everybody's mind. With AI that can do so much of the grunt work in the blink of an eye, what's going to happen to the human accountant? It's a totally fair question, and the answer might not be what you think. The short answer? Nope, not at all. See, this isn't a story about replacement. It's a story about evolution. By taking over all the routine, repetitive tasks, AI actually frees up professionals like you to focus on the much more interesting, higher-value work. You get to shift from being a data gatherer to a real strategic advisor. Okay, so how did we even get here? This massive shift didn't just happen overnight in a vacuum. It's actually being driven by the epic collision of two incredibly powerful forces. And it all starts with an absolute explosion of data. I mean, just look at that number, 44 trillion gigabytes. It's almost impossible to wrap your head around. Every time you search for something, send a message, buy something online, you're creating data. And this unbelievable mountain of information, that's the fuel that makes the whole AI engine run. And yeah, all this information has a name: big data. The main thing you need to know is that we're talking about data sets that are so huge, so messy, and coming in so fast that your trusty old spreadsheet just can't handle it anymore. And that very complexity creates both a huge challenge and an even bigger opportunity. You know, think about how ahead of the curve this was all the way back in 2010. The Economist was saying that data would become the new raw material for business, just like oil or steel. And today, we are living in that reality. AI is the refinery, and it's turning all that raw data into powerful insights we've never had before. But, and this is a big but, here's the catch. Just because you have a ton of data doesn't mean you have good data. And this is where a new, and I mean an absolutely critical role for accounting professionals comes into play. This is just staggering. A Harvard Business Review study found that only 3% of company data meets even basic quality standards. Let that sink in. 97% of new data has at least one critical error. AI can't work its magic on bad data. It's the classic saying, garbage in, garbage out. This quality crisis is exactly where human expertise becomes irreplaceable. This is a massive opportunity for CPAs to step up and become the guardians of data quality. And we're not just talking about running a few checks. We're talking about building an entire framework, setting standards, auditing the systems, and educating the whole company. This is a role that needs human judgment, not just raw processing power. So, with that in mind, let's meet the tools that are making all this possible. The best way to think about them isn't as job stealers, but as a new kind of digital coworker, one that's perfectly built to handle all the tedious, repetitive stuff that, let's be honest, humans shouldn't be doing anyway. First up, we've got robotic process automation, or RPA for short. These are basically software bots you can program to mimic human actions. You know, things like copying and pasting data, checking information, or processing invoices. They do all the high-volume, boring stuff, but they do it way faster and with way fewer mistakes. Here's a perfect real-world example. Picture a company just drowning in 2,000 invoices every single day, all processed by hand. It's slow, it's expensive, and it's just begging for errors. Now watch what happens. After they bring in RPA, a single software bot handles that entire workflow. It extracts the data, validates it, and posts it automatically. And the results? They're just incredible. I mean, look at these numbers. Cost savings over 70%, accuracy rates hitting 95%, and getting the work done 3 to 4 times faster. This isn't just a small improvement. This is a total game changer. So if the bots are handling all the repetitive work with this kind of insane efficiency, what does that mean for the humans on the team? Well, it means our roles have to evolve, and that's a good thing. This right here is the heart of the transformation. With all the tedious, manual work taken off your plate, you're finally free to focus on what you actually do best: analysis, interpretation, and strategic guidance. You can finally spend your time answering the why behind the numbers, not just compiling them. And you can see this evolution happening across the entire finance department. It doesn't matter if you're the CFO who's now overseeing all company data, not just financial, or an analyst using real-time insights for investments. The pattern is exactly the same. Every single role moves up the value chain, becoming more predictive, more analytical, and way more strategic. Of course, making this strategic shift means you need a new kind of toolkit. It really starts with a solid foundation in statistics, so you can find the real story hidden in the data. Then, learning the basics of how to talk to databases with languages like SQL can be a huge leg up. From there, it's about mastering tools like Tableau to make that story visual and compelling. But honestly, the most important piece is that last one, context. All the technical skills in the world don't mean a thing if you don't have the critical thinking to ask the right questions in the first place. So let's just bring it all home. This is not about humans versus machines. It's about humans with machines. AI and big data are incredibly powerful tools that, when you use them correctly, will elevate the entire accounting profession, making it more insightful, more strategic, and more valuable than it has ever been before.
This future is arriving fast. So the real question isn't whether robots are coming for your job. The question is, what will you do to evolve when your most efficient coworker happens to be a bot?